Yes, indeed. Welcome into another episode of Rip N Riff here on the Rip N Riff YouTube channel. That over there is at Mr. Jared Moore. I am at Fucking Thoughts, Adam Bernard. It is the first Monday in April, 2026. Got a national championship college basketball tonight. Michigan UConn should be a good one. Catch us talking too much about that here. Neither one of us big college hoop people. NHL, we had the Islanders fire Patrick Waugh all of a sudden on a Sunday. Got the 2-week stretch run here before the end of the NHL regular season. I will be at the Shark Tank tonight. Sharks Blackhawks. Looking forward to a little Celebrini Bernard head to head. Maybe we'll get anything you can do, I can do better. We'll see. And of course, we got baseball to talk about as well. It was Easter weekend, so that's related to one of the things we're going to be doing later today. But Jared, how we going? How's it going?
I would say it's going well. Yeah, kind of a newsworthy weekend there. You hit on some of the big topics there already. So I'm sure we'll dive into some of that a little bit more as we go through the show today.
Absolutely. Now we're here to rip packs. Let's see what we're doing today. There we go. And yes, for the first time on Rip N Riff, we'll be cracking an egg. So I bought this last year. There's a sporting good chain out here, Big Five, which is like Modell's, but it has like a hunting section and a like gun section and a camping section. So they have a little, counter at the front where they have a small selection of cards, maybe about a dozen different box types of football, baseball, whatever. And last year, right after Easter, I noticed they had one of these left. I'm like, that'd be a good thing to rip right around Easter. A little too late to do it now, but I remembered I had it. So excited to get to this today. 52 cards in here. I already took the outside off. Very wrapped tight. Plenty of hockey to get to later, but ready to talk a little baseball as we open this bad boy.
Sure, why not? We're a week and a half into the MLB season now, so we're starting to learn some things about some of these teams. So why not? Let's get right into it.
Let's do it. All right. So screws off like that. So got the little plastic insert in there. We can.
Did they give you any candy inside?
No candy inside. I think that's a smart move because whatchamacall, you don't want anything getting sugary or melty in there. Now we're gonna start here. All right. So see the little Adam Fantilli card. Get that off the side. We start with a what does it say? AL leaders card. 3 decent players on here. We got Aaron Judge, Jose Ramirez, and Brent Rooker. So 3 really strong players in the AL there.
Not bad. You've heard of them.
And here's the thing. You got my Yankees, the A's, who I used to enjoy watching their games before I had to schlep all the way out to Sacramento, and Jose Ramirez, who has been a cornerstone of my keeper fantasy baseball team for years. Because why not? He's one of the best. We got a Zach Wheeler here. Nice little card there. See what the Phillies do this year. Christopher Sanchez, the head of that rotation. Tyler Stevenson with the Reds. Well, these are decent looking cards here. I know we've opened these before, but it's exciting to open them when they're out of an egg. Christian Mena rookie card. Let's see here. Makes me think of Frank Reynolds. Can I offer you an egg in these trying times? We got Will Brennan with the Guardians there. Dylan Cease, formerly of the Padres, now with the Blue Jays, who are not off to a good start.
No, they're not. They've lost 4 in a row, so it's not a good sign when you get your brains beaten by the Chicago White Sox. But it's a long season, so we'll see how it goes.
We got Michael McGreevy, another team not expected to do well this year. We got a Michael McGreevy rookie card there with the Cardinals. We got Paul Blackburn with the Mets. Back-to-back horizontal cards. Tyrio Estrada from the Giants. Giants also not off to a good start this year out west with Tony Vitello. He'll come around. He's just a college manager managing in the major leagues for the first time. Give him a little time.
Just when I thought the Giants were starting to turn things around, they lose 3 in a row to the Mets. So, I mean, what are you gonna do?
I believe our pal Andrew Bogish was out in the Bay for one of those games. So good for him to get out there and with the fam and check out one of the nicest baseball stadiums in America. We got Tyler Phillips here with the Phillies, another rookie card. A bunch of nobodies so far. All right, Brandon Pfaadt starting to get a little more name recognition here. Sonny Gray, Nice Cardinal jerseys. Else.
And now he's with the Red Sox, and the Red Sox are off to a dreadful start.
So Blue Jays, Red Sox off the dreadful starts. They hate Pete Alonso in Baltimore already. One guy who will never. What?
Oh, good.
Let's see here. We got one guy who'll never be hated by his hometown, Mr. Clayton Kershaw. Oh, Mr. Dodger, probably of our generation. Gonna have to get some of these cards off the side because I have a big stack here. Clayton there. Let's see. We got Zach DeZenzo. Oh, who that is? Rookie card. Not good rookies here. We got River Ryan. Is that the son of Nolan Ryan?
I don't know.
He kind of has a similar throwing post to him. All right, so we got Josh Hader here with the Astros. Julio Rodriguez also off to a dreadful start this year for the Mariners. They're not going to do anything if he's not going. Let's see here. Casey Mize. Luis De Los Santos. Let's see here. Jung Hoo Lee. Giants. Jack Kachanowicz with the Angels. Connor Wong with the Red Sox. Yeah, maybe there's a reason this Easter egg was left on the shelf. We got Ryan Jeffers. Let's see here. Jake Irvin. Cards are they still here. What are your impressions of the Yankees so far?
I think they're going to be pretty good, but there's also stuff with the Yankees that's a little bit concerning. Like the bottom of the lineup really hasn't hit yet. You know, from 6 to 9, they've just been kind of a black hole offensively. You know, Chisholm will hit eventually. I'm not really worried about him. Wells has some pop, but like he's basically like a 200 hitter. You know, Ryan McMahon hasn't been very good, period. Like he's fine defensively, but he just doesn't really hit much. And Caballero kind of hasn't really gotten going yet. So we'll kind of see how that pans out. Other than that, like look, they're off to a good start. They're 7-2. They could have won yesterday's game. They probably should have lost Saturday's game, but they pulled that one out. So can't really complain about the Yankees. They got the A's coming to town this week, so they got a chance to build up a nice little lead here in the AL East in the early going.
Like you said, especially with Toronto and Boston struggling out of the gate. We got a former Oriole, Cedric Mullins there. I forget where he went in the offseason. Not with them anymore. Royce Lewis, Twins. We got Vlad Guerrero Jr. here with the Blue Jays. All right, at least getting some decent base cards out of it. Tanner Bybee, the Cleveland Guardians. O'Neal Cruz, who's off to a very good start with the Pirates this year. The Pirates, all of a sudden, maybe heard all that talk all these years about being a nothing franchise, and they're off to a good start so far.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be nice if O'Neal Cruz knew how to catch the ball, but other than that, like they're not off to a bad start at all.
Especially considering, well, we'll see. Well, it's easy to play well for like 2 weeks at the beginning of the season. Let's see what happens come, down the line. We got Hurston Waldrep here, rookie card with the Braves. Got Jake Cave with the Rockies. That's a stadium I need to get to at some point. I walked by the outside of it, but never actually went inside. Let's see here. We got the Padres and what I consider their hideous, whatever they call those jerseys, City Connect or whatever. I get it, but I don't know. I don't like them.
That's how you really feel.
Huh. Orelvis Martinez rookie card here with the Blue Jays. We got a Colt Keith all-star rookie tops there with the Tigers. Matt Chapman, former A, now Giant. Let's see here. We got Carlos Narvaez with the Yankees rookie card here. Luis Robert Jr., now with the Mets, but formerly of the White Sox. Luis Heel, Yankees. All right, at least a couple of Yankees coming out here. Brooks.
There's no polite way to say this, so I'm just going to say it. This pack just fucking keeps going and going and going.
I know it's we're getting there. We're moving. All right, there's some at least halfway decent stuff towards the end here. We'll get through. We got Brooks Lee rookie card here. Jameson Tyone. Oh, finally, we got an insert here. We got a call to the hall, Tony Gwynn, for the all-time great hitters. Probably the best all-around hitter of all time, maybe, or best or average hitter.
Yeah, the late great Tony Gwynn. So rest easy there, buddy.
All right, so we have we've gotten one decent thing out back. Kobe Mayo, Zach Eflin. I always want to say Elfin. It's Eflin. Jose Miranda, Luis Garcia Jr. All right, here we go. We got Chris Sale, Zach Wheeler, Shota Imanaga, NL pitching wins leaders there. All right, not too bad. Ronald Acuna Jr., Reese Hoskins, Corey Seager. All right, so now we're starting to actually get some decent cards towards the end here. We got a National League team card for the Padres, their checklist. Camera. There we go.
So I like that this egg is basically, let's just take like 4 base packs of the tops, whatever year this is, 2025. Let's take like 4 base packs, put it in one big plastic wrap, and just stick it in a plastic egg.
Now, I've been going through them quickly, but unless I miss them, so they're supposed to be like an Easter bunny or an egg parallel. I have not, but they're not in every pack. And like, I haven't seen, okay, there we go. Like, they're coming at the end. Okay. We got Max Schumann here with the A's. Excuse me, Jake Berger with the Marlins. David Fester rookie card here with the Twins. I got to watch him pitch last year when I went to the one A's game I went to out in Sacramento. All right, so we've got a Logan Webb. This is, I guess, one of the Easter egg parallels here, purple. Not too bad, but
I like that one.
Then we've got a green parallel here. Josh Naylor, picture with the Guardians doing his little bat flip deal. A cool shot.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
We got a guy a couple of years ago who was still one of the best out there, Nolan Arenado. Not so much anymore. Card there. Then let's see here. We got an NL ERA leader, Chris Sale, Zach Wheeler, Shota Imanaga. So got those 3 on the card again. And then we got a Raziel Iglesias parallel here. It looks like a pastel parallel, maybe. And then finally, we got a Hank Aaron 30th anniversary retro look. So there we go.
It's pretty good stuff.
Closed out strong. Not so not so good for those first couple of minutes. If you stuck with it, thank you.
If you stuck with it, yes. Finally got to the good part.
All right, so there we go. So I'm gonna take this. We're gonna switch over to you for a little bit here because I want to see your 2010, 2011 Donruss hockey here.
Sure. Yeah, I got 3 of these packs, so we can go through these. You see some of the legends there, like the recently fired Patrick Waugh. How about that getting fired on Easter Sunday? Good Lord.
That's just one of the better cards in the pack. I didn't necessarily mean for it to be there, but I guess that worked out.
Just coincidental timing, right?
I think they saw what Vegas did with Tortorella because let's face it, you look in that Pacific Division now. Edmonton's in the lead. Edmonton loses. That's how bad the Pacific Division is and how much of a pillow fight it is. Edmonton loses Leon Draisaitl and has every excuse to fall down, and they climb. So they lose their second best player and they move up in the standings. That is how bad the Pacific.
It's embarrassing. The LA Kings going to what 32 overtime games this season. It's just pathetic.
Listen, I'm excited to be going to a Sharks game in April. That like, hey, we've got a chance at maybe looking at a team that's going to the playoffs after the season Celebrini's had. But that point wise, they have no business being in a playoff race. Like that wild card too in both conferences right now. It's like you take it. No, you take it. No, I don't want it. No, you have it. Somebody's got to get it.
Yep. All right, we start with here's a player still active in the league, Evander Kane there in the old Atlanta Thrashers jerseys.
Those Thrasher jerseys were nice, the light blue.
Yeah, I kind of like those blue ones.
That was the my first ever Ranger playoff game was game 4 when they swept the Thrashers, the only time they made the playoffs ever.
We got a couple Devils here. Marty Brodeur, I might have heard of him.
Is that numbered?
No, I don't think so.
I thought I saw something on the lower right side for it.
No, the right side it just said goalie.
Oh, okay, that's what that is. Okay,
yeah, that's what it says. The player's position, and I always butcher this guy's name, Pierre-Luc Letourneau Leblond.
I think you got it. I mean, the person that's got to stitch the letters together doesn't like the players like that, but other than that,
yes. Let's see. John Tavares here with the Islanders.
It feels like he's been with Toronto so long. Like, not to say you forget he was with the Islanders, but that feels like it was like a lifetime ago.
All right, I got a nominee here for pull of the day, and I promise you, after the show, it'll be pulled for the day. Pam Anderson, fans of the game card.
You know, when I was looking up at the different, like, I always do a little bit of work on the packs beforehand, and that was one of the ones I almost put on the graphic, but I'm like, we never get to pull those random like that. But there it is.
There it is.
What team is she a fan of? Does it say on there?
The Vancouver Canucks. Well, she is Canadian, so I
Oh,
guess that checks out. I guess
yeah.
she's from Western Canada.
Listen, Ryan Reynolds, Canucks fan. There's a lot of Michael Bublé, Canucks fan. Canucks are a popular team to root
Let's see. We got Phil Kessel, even though this barely looks anything like Phil Kessel.
because he hasn't eaten his weight in hot dogs at that point in his career.
I suppose so. Yes, this is pre Steve Simmons hot dog story. Let's see. Alex Goligoski here with the Penguins. Solid offensive defenseman of his era.
Good, like, second pairing defenseman guy, runs your power play maybe.
We have Lightning goaltender Dan Ellis here. And
Lightning and Hurricane still look like to be like the class of the East right now.
Yeah, that's gonna be my pick for the Eastern Conference Final. I think I know it's very chalky, but Buffalo's kind of cooled off a little bit, which I guess was to be expected. They've been so red hot of late that it's tough to sustain that, and it's not that they're in a bad position. Like, they're still going to be, in a prime playoff series. They might have home ice, depending on who finishes.
Montreal surgeon. Montreal they've been playing.
I think Montreal is better than them.
I agree. And a head-to-head, I would take Montreal over Buffalo. And if it's Montreal-Tampa in the second round, Tampa's going to be sweating.
Yep. And last but not least, Ryan Clough here with something with this card. Oh, no, that's just a skate on the bottom. I thought there was something with this card.
Oh, yeah.
The skate on the bottom there.
He was a solid player for a time, and then he came to the Rangers and was kind of okay, and then that was him.
Well, he had the concussion issues, and then he signed with the Devils, and it's always a good idea to give a guy 5 years when he's had like 3 concussions in the last 18 months. So, not one of Lou's best signings there.
No. But good shark for a long time.
Yep. Let's see. Speaking of other 5-year deals to Devils players that didn't work out, here's Michael Camilleri.
He was great with the Flames though for a while. He was
a solid goal scorer, but he was kind of a one-trick pony in that respect.
Small, speedy winger that could put the puck in the net, and that was pretty much it.
Yeah,
but he did it well for a while.
Evgeny Malkin here, still going strong with the Penguins, who are going to be prime playoff position. I don't know who they're going to play in that 2-3 matchup. Right now, the Flyers hold that spot, so we shall see.
Let's see that Malkin card again. You glitched when you put it up on the screen, so
I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. I want to look at those old Penguins with like the faded goldish yellow instead of like the bright yellow.
I like that. I like that look.
I like that look. I still like the bold yellow better, mustard yellow.
Let's see. We have Cam Barker here with the Wild.
That Stars are pretty much have been locked in with playing each other in the first round. Interesting to see how that series will go because you can't Jake Ottinger has not had the best season for Dallas, and Minnesota. I feel like they're susceptible. Like they're a great team, but they're like they were behind. They let the Red Wings back into that game up 4-1. You can't be doing that.
Mm-hmm. Daniel Sedin here.
Daniel and Henrik. Last time the Canucks were consistently.
We have Troy Brouwer here with the Blackhawks. Interesting that they used the warm-up jersey for this shot, but there you go.
Yeah, that's it. Usually don't see that. And that's on.
I guess they just shot him at practice that morning during the morning skate or something. Would be my guess. A Tough Times presents Tim Hunter card here with the Calgary Flames.
I like that one. It's a cool.
Yeah, I like the design of that card.
Tough Times.
Let's see, Alex Hemsey here with the Oilers.
He was a fast skater too. He was a little bit of a different player than Camilleri, but that guy could fly.
Mark Fischrick with the Stars.
Dallas, Minnesota before. We'll see how that goes. Colorado losing to St. Louis. St. Louis has been a bright little team lately.
Let's see. Yeah, I mean they have. I mean that's how pathetic the West is. The Blues aren't out of it.
I mean, if they are, but they're not. Like you look at their schedule the rest of the way. I don't know if they. I mean, listen, they've been playing better hockey in the month of March and now April.
I mean, they got teams that got to jump in front of, but they're 3 points out of the last wild card.
All right, so
now with 5 games to play or 6 games to play, but yes.
Even though the Mammoth have had a little bit of a bumpy time lately, I think we can assume they're going to get that wild card one. I think that's a fairly safe assumption at this point. Between the Predators, Kings, Sharks, I'm not putting the Kraken in there. And I guess who else is? I don't have the standings in front of me.
The Blues have 78 points. The Jets have 78 points. The Jets have been playing better of late too.
Jets have been playing better of late too, so it's not out of the. And I think the Sharks actually play in Winnipeg next week, so wouldn't that be something that was for the last playoffs? But the Sharks, they have Chicago tonight, Edmonton at home Wednesday, Vancouver at home on Saturday. Then they finish at Nashville, Chicago, Winnipeg. So
it's interesting this late in the season. There's so many teams that are still technically mathematically alive, which is kind of what we're going with. Like the Calgary Flames are still mathematically alive.
Well, I think that goes to like conference imbalance to a degree. I mean, like you're talking about like the wild card 2 right now is what the Predators or the Kings with 81 points. Meanwhile, 87-point team, 88-point team in the East is not right now is not in, and probably if they keep winning at the same place. That's why I think one of those last 2 they should take a wild card spot from each conference and just give it to the best remaining draft.
Right. The Devils will be mathematically probably on Tuesday. They can be mathematically eliminated if they lose to the Flyers and if Ottawa wins. So
should they be wild card 2 in the West right now?
I mean the Devils have more wins than, let me count this up. They have more wins than the Vegas Golden Knights. They have more wins than the LA Kings. In their own conference, they have more wins than the Flyers. These are teams that are holding playoff spots. So there you go. But they can't get to overtime and lose. That's been their issue. When they get to overtime, they win, but they don't get to overtime enough.
Yeah, they only have 3 overtime losses this year.
Yeah, and one of them was over the weekend to Montreal when they lost in the shootout.
There you go.
Let's see. We have one-time Devil here, Steve Sullivan.
Good player in the league that bounced around.
Yep. And Jack Johnson here with the LA Kings to finish up this pack. I got one more pack to go here.
Very nice. Yeah, the Kings, I know I'm a little bit of a homer if I'm picking the Sharks to get that last wild card spot. I think tonight.
No, I don't blame you for rooting for pulling for the Sharks there.
I'll say this: you got Edmonton coming to town Wednesday. You may not get that one. You also got to go to Anaheim this week too. I forgot about that. They got to play the Ducks. So you got to assume you probably won't get you might only get 1 out of 4 points there. You got to get 2 points against Chicago tonight. It doesn't matter if they get 1, preferably you want that regulation win for tiebreaker purposes, but you got to get 2 tonight against Chicago, and the next week you got to beat the Predators because they just beat you at home on Saturday. Got to beat Winnipeg, and then you probably got to get those 2 easy points against Chicago again.
I should probably carve out time tonight to watch Lightning Sabres as well.
After the way those games have gone this year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a nationally televised. That's going to be on NHL Network. So
I will be in the car on my way down to San Jose, but I'm not driving, so maybe I'll bring my other stream the game in the car.
All right, last pack here. Tyler Bozak with the Leafs here to start off. Jonas Gustafsson with the Leafs as well.
Do you think Austin Matthews will be traded in the offseason?
No.
I could see it, but that would take a lot.
Unless he just says I'm fed up, I want out. That's the only way I could see it potentially happening. I know they wanted to get a more data analytically driven general manager in there. I feel they're going to hire another 200 hockeyman guy, and that's not going to be an easy fix in Toronto. They don't have draft capital. They might not have their own first-round pick this year because they traded it in the Brandon Carlo trade last year. And if they wind up somehow keeping it, then it's unprotected next year. So that's not going to be an easy fix there. They don't have a ton of cap space. There's no big-time free agents. So, who's coming to bail them out?
And who would want to go, A, to a team in that situation, B, be in a fishbowl while dealing with a team in that situation. So they're just they've got a whole dog for themselves.
Right. So I don't know. Let's
Maybe that's the argument that you do trade Matthews, because it's like if all hope is lost, if he wants to go out somewhere west, why not? Utah, LA, Anaheim.
Well, that might be how Matthews eventually looks at it. Like, there's no path to us getting better, and that's he looks for the out there. I don't know.
If I'm Mike Greer, I would call Toronto and be like, "Hey, if I offer a package with Misa, what else does it take to get Matthews?"
I mean, Misa would be a good starting point, former number 2 overall pick. You offer him, you offer a first round pick, you probably offer another high pick, and I'm sure they have some B tier prospects they could include with that. It's so that's not that's not outlandish. That would be an appropriate package, I think.
That's the thing. Like the Sharks have a very good. Okay, we need to give you a really good player in return. Here's that guy. We can start there, and it's like, all right, we can have this conversation.
Yeah, you probably put like a young defenseman in there as well. So maybe someone like Muka Badulin or one of their recent high draft picks.
Not Dickinson. One of the other guys. Yeah.
Right, not Dickinson, but yeah, I can't think of the other guys off the top of my head, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
All right, Brad Boy's here with the Blues. Let's see, Mikhail Bodker with the Coyotes. We've already mentioned the Mammoth and their situation there. Let's see, Claude Giroux with the Flyers, and obviously now Philadelphia tentatively holding that playoff spot in the third place spot in the Metropolitan. I think the Flyers wind up getting it. It's just a hunch feeling on my part, and maybe it's just because they're the incumbent right now and they currently hold it. But the Islanders are free falling. They've lost 4 in a row. I don't. It's not that I doubt that Pete DeBoer will eventually turn them around, but I think there's 4 games left in the season. I think is asking a bit much.
The one thing that does the favor is they don't play till Thursday, so he does have time to like actually implement shit over the course.
Right. But the Flyers have been playing well. They're a frisky team. I kind of think the Flyers are probably going to beat the Devils this week, which is I'm sort of baking that into this equation. So I know they play tomorrow. So
then at Detroit, at Winnipeg, and then home for Carolina and Montreal. So it's not easy sledding for them.
Right. A lot of these teams play very similar schedules down the stretch, though. A lot of them are playing like those Atlantic good
Columbus
teams
has a tough schedule too.
Yeah.
Islanders only have 4 left, so their runway is not as long. Here's the thing: the Islanders have Toronto, Ottawa, Montreal, Carolina, so they have what should be an easy 2, and then you have a head-to-head against Ottawa. Where like you got to win that game if you want to go to the playoffs. You lose that game, that's a 4-point swing. You're probably done. So,
yep. Let's see. We have Yaroslav Halak again. Or not again. We have him the first time here. It just feels like again because he was in the league forever. And I say again because I kind of cheated and look ahead to the rest of the pack. And these are all repeat cards, and it's literally in the same order as the previous pack with Alex Hemsky.
Wow.
With Mark Fistrick, with Steve Sullivan, and with Jack Johnson.
National Hockey Card Day is this Saturday, and we all remember what happened when I got similar packs. I hope this is not an omen. I want the hobby shop to confirm that they will be having the packs this Saturday, so I will be making a visit. Yeah, I hope that's not, but that's not how you want to close that because you were getting some decent pulls there. But
yeah, it's kind of a crummy way to finish. But what are you gonna do?
Yeah, that's not what you want. That is right there. That's fine. But nobody's fault. It happens. All right. I'll agree.
I mean, I spent what $4 on the packs. I guess you get what you pay for.
That's true. To go back to who gets that 3 in the Metro, it's them or Columbus. I think the Islanders are a wild card or bust at this point. Not that they can. I know they mathematically could. But yeah, I think it's.
And Columbus is trending in the wrong direction. They've lost 6 in a row.
Yeah, so I get. Yeah, I would say you're going to have a Keystone cross-state Keystone rivalry in the first round, Pittsburgh Philly, which will be that'll be good.
That'll be fun. Like we haven't had the Flyers in the playoffs in a while. They play their biggest rival. They're in the first round. That I'm not going to say it'd be great hockey, but like the Flyers will flyer it up. They'll goon it up, and That'll make it an interesting series.
If you look when the Flyers and Penguins meet in the playoffs, they always find ways to make those series really entertaining. I remember being at like a bar with like DJ Zulo and a few other Sirius XM people, and there happened to be a first round Penguins Flyers game, like late 2000, like late in the aughts, like right around 2009, 10, whatever it was. And it was like an 8-5 game, and it was like 4-4 in the first. It was that's what happens when those two get together. So that'll be good for the first round. I agree. Yeah, I think you're looking at a Carolina, Pittsburgh, Philly. Then I would say right now the way it looks in the Atlantic is probably how it finishes. Tampa, Montreal, Buffalo.
I think it's gonna be Boston and Ottawa getting the 2 wild card spots.
That other wild card spot, I think Ottawa is playing the best, and they have the edge right now. So yeah, I don't think you're going to get as much as I thought we were going to get a fourth team out of the Metro. It's just Columbus is trending in the wrong direction. The Islanders, who knows what we're going to get out of them? So
I just want to see what the Ottawa schedule looks like real quick down the stretch.
And I don't, I know Washington's still right there, and they got a game against Toronto, but they have 2 against Pittsburgh and 1 against Columbus. So yeah, I think you're looking at the Ottawa.
Ottawa has Tampa tomorrow, which is tough. But they have Florida after that. Florida has been eliminated. They have the Islanders over the weekend. They have the Devils over the weekend, and then they finish up with the Leafs.
That Islanders Senators game on Saturday, that's a 1:00 Eastern puck drop. Like that could be a eliminate your opponent scenario for Ottawa. Like you can kick them out of the playoff race for good. And like you said, you get Jersey and Toronto after that, plus Florida. Yeah, Ottawa's going to probably get that last spot. And I'm not going to say they could beat a Tampa or a Carolina in the first round, but if they get Carolina, they just beat them in their building yesterday. So anything's possible. The East, you might have some upsets this year. But let's get.
I mean, that sounds about right. Consider how the Eastern Conference in general has gone the entire year. That would not surprise me.
And next pack we're going to get to here, we're going to keep the hockey rolling. I've got a whole hobby box of these, so we'll be blowing through a couple of these. I might even do a second one of these today because why not? We're looking for that Misa Young Gun. We got a Schaefer Young Guns on card, not the gold outburst one, but we did get one last week. So that was a nice pull out of the Schaefer pack. I did open up a pack of these last night, and it was a dud pack, so at least I got one of the dud packs out.
You got the dud.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. I think it is Ottawa. Even though their goaltending, does them in at times, they're probably the team. Get that last spot. All right. Let's see here. We got Columbus right out of the gate in this pack with Elvis Merzlikins. And they could, if they have to win out probably at this point. Yeah, like you said, they've lost too many in a row. They were in control of their own fate, and then they kind of faded. Got Cutter Gauthier with the Ducks, who were in the division lead. Now they've been struggling too. Now you got Edmonton just ahead of them. They're actually tied at 87 points, but Edmonton's got the regulation win tiebreaker over them. So yeah, that Pacific. I mean, I'd like to see an Anaheim Vegas first round series. That would be okay with me.
That would be fun. I think the entire hockey world would be rooting for Anaheim in that scenario.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, because I would like to see Edmonton maybe get one more. Like Florida's not in your way this year, and you're going to the playoffs. And I know your goaltending stinks and your blue line's out, but we've been saying this about the Edmonton Oilers forever, and they still get to the Stanley Cup Finals. They should be able to get to the conference finals again easily. Maybe because they're probably looking at a Utah Mammoth in the first round if they win the division. So maybe that's an upset potential there, but I don't know. I could see Edmonton getting back to the conference finals, and maybe like an Edmonton, Colorado wouldn't be a bad play for a conference final exact matchup. We got Toronto, Steven Lorentz. We got Alexander Texier with the Blues, looking like he's not happy about something there. Like somebody just said something about him in the stands and shoot there. Like, what was that?
He looks like he's just taking a quick little break during the warm up.
I don't know. He looks like he is a little upset. We got Adam Lowry here for Winnipeg Jets. They might, we haven't talked about them for they're sneaking by. They've got Hellebuck. Kyle Connor's on fire lately. Let's look at their schedule. They could get that wild card too. They got the Kraken tonight, so you got to get that. at St. Louis versus Philly, at Vegas, at Utah versus San Jose. So there you go. Their path.
It's a manageable schedule, and I hate to say anyone has an easy schedule because even the bad teams this year are plucky, but that's about as manageable a schedule as you could get this time of year for a team that's like fighting for their lives.
Seattle's fading like Columbus in the East. St. Louis is playing better. That's going to be a tough game. That always is. St. Louis, Winnipeg. They'd love to, knock you down a peg. Philly, that's going to be a big game for both teams. Then you go to Vegas and Utah. Utah probably won't need the points as badly. Vegas probably won't need the points. Maybe they're playing for home ice still. And then San Jose, which that could be a play-in game essentially. And here's a William Eklund that's speaking of the Sharks there. We got from the Florida Panthers, Alexander Barkov, no doubt their poor season due to his absence, due to injury. But they're very much a team that I think will make the playoffs next year. We'll see what they do with their goaltending.
I think everybody's picking the Florida Panthers to bounce back next season once they get healthy. That's not a knock on you. That's just everybody's doing that.
It's smart. I mean, well, I'll say this. To get back to the playoffs, absolutely. Win the cup, let's see what they do about their goaltending. Because that's a big X factor.
Yep, Bobrovsky's going to be a free agent. We'll see what happens there.
So I get back to the playoffs, sure. But I'm not ready to write them back in the Stanley Cup Finals yet. We got Spencer Knight here with the Chicago Blackhawks. If you're a Blackhawks fan and you're watching what's going on, I bring up the Sharks here because they're playing tonight. You see what's happening in San Jose with Celebrini, and he's got his Robin to his Batman and Will Smith and their BFFs. And yes, the Sharks have their holes on the blue line for sure, but you're seeing at least the forward group come together and have some semblance of a true line 1, line 2, line 3, line 4. From Bedard, it's like, when's that going to happen? Like, it's starting to happen, I think. I know they called up Frondell. He's been playing. Levshunov, maybe next year is the year they kind of have their Sharks-esque jump. I think the only thing that hurts them, though, is being in that central division. Like, there's no room to really jump into the top 3 unless one of them stumble.
It does feel like they're a little bit behind, or they've been passed a little bit by some of these other teams like San Jose. No, I agree with
and
you.
Anaheim too. Anaheim is, that's a team you thought you were going to be in the same window with, and you're not. So we'll see. Maybe a full off season with everybody, and you'd like to see them making that jump a little bit there because they go in. Sharks get Askarov, they go get Spencer Knight. Like both teams trying to address their goalies of the future, although there is some doubt in Sharks country if Askarov's glove hand is going to be good enough long term. The word is that Askarov thinks his glove is quicker than it actually is, and he's susceptible to that at times. We'll see. He's still young.
That's been a trend with Askarov of him thinking he's better than he actually is, because it was the same thing in Nashville too. And there was a reason Nashville extended Saros. I'm not saying that deal is going to work out for him long term, but there's a reason why they ultimately chose to pay Saros and trade Askarov. So might just be something to look out for in regards to Askarov moving forward.
Well, they signed Nedeljkovic to a 2 or 3 year deal, so they know they have at least that insurance policy if Askarov doesn't take that next step. And they also have Josh Ravensburg in the minors as hey, if Askarov's starting to be like, hey, we don't think he's the guy. They do have another guy in the wings that could become the guy. We got the Capitals here with Alexander Ovechkin. He hasn't confirmed anything about coming back for next year. We haven't heard anything.
Not that I've seen.
I can't imagine his season's going to go out in a whimper with who do they close against? Whatever it is. I think it was Columbus. At Columbus. So his last home game is Sunday, April 12th against Pittsburgh. So I mean, in that regard, a final Penguins Capitals game to close out his home career. But I don't know. The thing is, if he comes back next year, it might be the same exact thing where you're good, but you're not good enough for the playoffs. So I don't know. Maybe he is like, you know what? Time for me to walk away.
I honestly don't know. I assume he's going to come back until he says he doesn't.
We've continued with the Capitals. We've got a Tom Wilson encore card there, encore insert. Then we have to close the pack here. We get a Young Guns, Michael Brandiseg Nygaard. He's again, we could certainly take this opportunity to talk about the Red Wings and how they probably won't fire Steve Yzerman if they miss the playoffs, but they probably should at this point.
It's just pathetic at this point.
Here's the thing. I don't think there's a team where it is more clear right now. If he makes the playoffs, he stays. If he doesn't, he goes. And I understand he's a franchise icon, and you get a little bit of a longer leash with those guys. But I mean, a month ago we were saying like, all right, I think Detroit's done enough to prove themselves as a playoff team. Where they fall is where they fall, but they should be in. And here we are with 2 weeks to go, and we're like, they're probably not getting in.
I think it was on this show like a month ago where I was literally saying like, if it was Detroit Buffalo in the first round, I'm picking Detroit.
Yeah, and just because and listen, versus Columbus, versus Philly, versus Devils, at Tampa, at Florida. Tampa's probably going to need that game for the division if Montreal starts or Buffalo starts putting heat on their tails. Philly's going to fight like a dog in that game to keep you out. Same for Columbus. Both teams struggling right now. I mean, the only Red Wings win, they've only got 2 wins since March 20 or since March 19th. They've got 2 wins since then. Buffalo and Philly. So impressive wins, but that's all you got.
I would very much like, as a Devils fan, to knock the Red Wings out. I don't have anything personal against them. I just want to play spoiler. It hasn't been a good season for the Devils, so I want to ruin somebody else's season on the way out.
Do you want to ruin it so bad that you would consider going to a 5:00 Saturday puck drop if you were free to do so?
I didn't say I would go to the game. I'm just saying. I'm just saying I would be more than happy to ruin their season.
Maybe if you go, just your presence will personally ruin their season. Like, oh, this guy's here. Jared Moore's here. Now, a team that is going to be going to the playoffs, and we got a nice upper deck canvas here. Yuri Slafkovsky, who basically since the calendar turned to January has been just unbelievable. Montreal being everything they need to be. He played his ass off in the Olympics there for Slovakia. Was a major contributor. I mean, Canadians got a real one with this guy.
He was one of the best players in the Olympics for any team, period. So, that's a good team, Montreal. I mean, I saw a lot of them this weekend as the Devils played them twice, and I still don't know how Jacob Markstrom shut out the Habs yesterday. He's been terrible all year, and then he shuts out Montreal. So, like, I don't get it. Other than that's baseball, Susan. But like,
I haven't heard that.
But yeah, I mean, that's a good team in Montreal. I like them. It's the right mix of high end skill, speed, physicality, defending. I think there's a lot to like with that team.
Now the question is, I guess, like, it's Dobesh is the guy, and it's basically been 2 Dobesh, 1 Fowler, 2 Dobesh, 1 Fowler. That's basically the way the rotation's been going. So Dobesh is the guy, but if there's a little bit of trouble in Montreal, let's say Buffalo steals game, let's say Montreal has home ice and Buffalo takes the game 1 and game 2 in Montreal. Do you make your switch? Do you trust your guy? That's the only thing is, like, yes, Dobesh is the guy for now.
That's very much we're going to ride the hot hand.
I think so.
And like whoever's playing well, like that's going to be the guy.
And here's the thing. Montreal got into the playoffs last year. They lose to Washington in the first round. Now that you win a round, and then, who knows? Maybe if you could give Tampa a fight, I could see them in the conference. The East is so wide. It's Carolina and Tampa, but a lot of those teams, below Carolina and Tampa could easily knock them out. So as much as you and I think it probably is a Carolina-Tampa conference finals, I don't know. It's Carolina-Montreal.
Right. And I don't think there's a lot that differentiates those teams below Carolina and Tampa, though. So, like, I could see any of them sort of knocking any of them out.
We talked about Edmonton out in the West before about, like, hey, Florida's out of the playoffs this year. This is your year to kind of maybe get through finally. Same thing for Carolina in the East. Like, it's been tough sledding for them over the years. So, at the hands of Florida. So, one more pack of this. We can talk about anybody we want as we close things out on this edition of Rip N Riff here on the Rip N Riff YouTube channel. We got Sam Reinert with the Florida Panthers, great player, just not the season that was hoping for. We got Ryan Lumberg here with the Calgary Flames, who they've actually been playing better hockey down the stretch a little bit too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's been a lot of teams that are out of the playoff mix, like basically like post Olympics, that have just been playing like really good hockey. So I don't know if it's just a lot of these teams got to reset. Like, during the break or what it was. Like, I hate keeping bringing this back to the Devils, but like the Devils been a totally different team since the Olympic break.
So, and not that the Devils were out of it by then, but with some of these teams like the Calgarys of the world, like you kind of know, like once you're like, all right, we're officially out of the playoffs, or like it's just like you start playing freer hockey, like there's that burdens off you. You just go out there and do what you're supposed to do. So maybe that's part of it here. I mean, the Devils also Jack Hughes has been consistently healthy for the since the Olympics. So
He's been one of the best players in the league since the Olympics. But like it's not just him though. It's like a lot of guys have
yes, for
been
Brett.
playing a lot better. They've opened up their system a little bit since the Olympics, so it's a little less. I don't want to say pond hockey, but I think playing a little more like of that pond hockey style just generally favors the Devils because that's just how their team's built.
Yeah, listen, the Devils again, wrong conference, but maybe if things had gotten going a little bit sooner, maybe they'd still be in the wild card mix. But it bodes well for next year. But that's also why I wouldn't be quick to get rid of Keefe. If you were going to make a change on this team, like we talked about, it's Fitzgerald. It's not Keefe.
Yeah, I would keep Keith, but if they changed the GM, I can't blame them. If a new GM wants to bring in his own coach, I can't blame him.
Kind of looks like Ryan Lundberg's like looking over your shoulder at your monitor the way that's angled there. It's like, what are you looking
does,
at?
yes.
We got Teuvo Teravainen with the Blackhawks. Talked about them. Jack Drury with the Avalanche. Goaltending's been a little shaky for them lately, but see. Still, to me, the team in the West is Colorado until further notice. We got Barrett Hayton with the Mammoth there. It's a shot. We got Alex DeBrincat in those outdoor Red Wings uniforms with the full stripe down the middle. Logan Stankoven with the Hurricanes. Let's see here. We got Anthony Beauvillier doing all right there. Then let's see here. We got Adrian Kempe with the Kings, who maybe they are that last wild card team. Maybe they get Andre Kopitar one last playoff run, but that's anybody's spot. Who wants it? That's going to go down to probably the last game of the season. We got If You Know, You Know, which I hate that slogan, but Cam Fowler there. That's for that. And we close with two more cards here. We got a Upper Deck Canvas of Travis Ekney, but that's probably one of the creepiest cards I've ever seen.
That is a horrendous card.
That looks like some like 1800s painting. That doesn't.
Yes. Yes.
Like, yeah. Like the hockey player. That's the name. By like Rembrandt, somebody. But yeah,
that would not look out of place next to like a nice like canvas painting of like Martin Van Buren.
Yeah, exactly. And we close. We got a Sharks young gun. It's not it's a guy we actually just talked about. It's not Michael Misa, but it's Sam Dickinson. I'll take that for the collection.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Got Askarov in the background there. You can tell by the stick. Doesn't look like he's looking in the right direction for it. But there we go. Go. Big old yawn there from Mr. Jared Moore. That does it for the 20 with Upper Deck Series 2. We'll do plenty of hockey in the coming weeks. We'll take a break from the series too, because we've done a bunch of that. We got the Schaefer last week. I'm pleased with that Sam Dickinson card. I mean, we could do polls of the day, but we all know it's the Pamela Anderson fan card for the Vancouver Canucks, so no reason to even question that.
Right. We're not reinventing the wheel here.
Get Pam Anderson on a card. That's the card. What do we got coming up on allaboutthejersey.com as the Devils wind their season down?
I'll write some words this week. I don't know what it's going to be about, but we'll figure it out.
Will they be in order?
They will form coherent sentences and represent a coherent thought. I'm fairly confident in that. I just don't know what I'm. It's the end of a season where they're not going to the playoffs, so like, there's only so many ways you can say, "Yeah, I wish they would fire the general manager," without actually saying it.
Yeah.
So, I'm not really sure like what angles there are really left to take. So, last week I think my angle was about the because it was right after the Golden Knights fired Cassidy, hired Tortorella. It's like I wish the Devils were a little more cutthroat as an organization like that. That was the angle I took, but that was a nice, easy one. I can't do the same thing this week with the Islanders firing Patrick Waugh to hire Peter DeBoer. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet this week, but we'll figure it out. It'll probably be something along the lines of, because I think some skeptics are like, well, these games are meaningless. And it's like, actually, no, the games do kind of mean something. So maybe I'll do something along those lines.
they're
Like, there is
meaning
stuff in the games that means something.
they're meaningless in the terms of like, like, okay, they're probably not going to the playoffs, all that stuff. But you want to be feeling good going into the offseason. You want to go into the offseason feeling like, all right, hey, we were playing some good hockey down the stretch. That was fun. I can't wait to get back on the ice. You don't want to limp into the offseason
Right.
playing miserable hockey where it's like, God, glad that's over. You know?
Right, and the team looks more like you expect them to look throughout the year. Like it matters that like Jack Hughes is playing well.
Yes. Yeah, good stuff there. All about the jersey.com. There will be coherent sentences, which is more than we can say about some people. At ripnriff@gmail.com. Also, Jared Moore at YouTube at Jared Moore Poker. Great poker shorts and content. Very entertaining stuff there. Also, at Total Hockey Now. So, what's sad is this is the last Thursday with a heavy slate, like a 13, 14 game slate, because next Thursday is the last night of the regular season. Only like 6 games, and they're all in the West. So it's one of the last heavy slates of the year. That, and I think that's Saturday that week. So we are talking about that plenty over there, and very. Well, I can't scroll, so I can't do the back time bed. So we're gonna have to look out that for this edition of Rip N Riff here on the Rip N Riff YouTube channel. Don't forget, like, rate, subscribe, all that good stuff. But for at Mr. Jared Moore, I am at Pucking Thoughts Adam Bernard. My top's Easter egg that I'm going to use for something. Sure. Back with you next Monday. All new episode of Rip and Riff. A little NFL draft, a little more hockey on the Rip and Riff YouTube channel. Thanks for watching.